wants to tame me. You can't catch me on the run, cause I'm gone, yeah. I blaze trails, set fire to what's behind me. No, I'm never looking back, I'm on the run. I could only ever be what I'm made to be. Feels good when I'm living on the edge. Watch me now, go like thunder, gonna shake the ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't be contained. I got lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now.
Hi, I'm Wyatt Milam. I'm from Canova, West Virginia. When I'm back home, you'll find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We have that gold and blue pride at your local Par-Mar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Par-Mar stores.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
And this is the WolfMan's Call today. I hope you're having an excellent day because we have an excellent lineup for you today. It's some very interesting things, but the first thing I want to do is get to business here, and that is I want you to go ahead, and if you get on YouTube, I want you to go ahead and sign up and get up there, and if you can, if you like YouTube, get up there. I'm getting it up for you. There you go. Subscribe on YouTube, West Virginia Football, the voice of college football. Why? Because we know WolfMan's Call rocks football and anything else that's of current issue. At least that's what we say. Anyways, Facebook, hey, go ahead and share it, please. And Twitter, go ahead and retweet. We're growing. We're getting up there. Great guest. And today is no different because I have somebody really, really special. And that is Scott Howley, who's the son of Chuck Howley. Now, Chuck Howley this year is getting inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. He's out of Wheeling, West Virginia. He was a Mountaineer, just everything Mountaineer, everything Dallas Cowboy. He just spent 2 years with the Bears. Interesting story. We'll talk to Scott here in just a second, but this is huge because for years, unfortunately, he was overlooked for the NFL Hall of Fame. They got it right. So let's welcome to the show on the WolfMan's Call, Mr. Scott Howley. Scott, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. You know, I think about the first time we all met. I think you were on a guided tour for soccer for your daughter, and your dad was with you, and I was head of the alumni, so we got a chance to talk, and we just developed a friendship ever since then. And I've seen this journey of yours and your family on this trip to the NFL Hall of Fame. What's it feel like now?
It's really surreal. I mean, of course, the family wishes Dad could attend and experience all of the festivities and events that are surrounding all of this. But he's with us in spirit and at home and doing well. And it's just been a wild ride.
Yeah, I was looking at him here, and he was the MVP of the only Super Bowl team to ever lose. I mean, that right there in itself really should have been something that people would have looked at. You would have thought of course, and he's Super Bowl winner 6, and he could have been the MVP of that game. But I think Roger Staubach, received that year. But it was up in the air because he again was such an influence. Now he played 15 years. I think he was all Pro Bowl like 6 of the seasons or 7, and he just made so much impact. 25 interceptions. And what was it like growing up the son of Chuck Howley? Because he was part of that doomsday defense, man. Those Cowboys, I can remember at first, I didn't think I liked them, and then they grew on me because they were so good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We spent a lot of time around the other players and their kids, and we all basically lived in the same neighborhood. So we would just be running around together all the time. So it was great. It was like everybody's dad was kind of watching over us and keeping us out of trouble most of the time. So yeah, we enjoyed it. We would go up to the practice field with Dad, and we were kind of locker room brats, and we would just kind of hang out in the locker room while they practiced. And the group that we ran with was like Dan Reeves' son and Dave Mander's son, Leroy Jordan's sons. We had there was just several other kids that ran with us, but we all enjoyed ourselves. And I think the athletic training staff was in charge of keeping us sort of in line while they were watching films and trying to keep us out of trouble. I think we gave them more trouble than we should have.
Yeah, it sounds to me like that's a pretty good childhood.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I bet it was, and especially when you think about Bob Lilly and Roger Staubach and just the names that have been for the last 50 years, and just so much. And, let's go back and talk about where father came from, West Virginia, what he did in West Virginia, and then the Dallas, because I think he entered 5 different sports in college.
I think we lost audio.
Are you there now?
I'm hearing you now. Yeah.
Okay. So I was saying about going back to West Virginia, and your dad, he lettered in 5 different sports, I believe.
That's right.
He was an all-around athlete, and on the football field, you can see him as an all-around athlete through the interceptions, the fumble recoveries, and he was really pretty amazing. What was it like for him coming from West Virginia? Interesting story. He went to the Bears for 2 years, left football for a bit because of an injury in his knee, and then came back.
Right. Yeah. He went to the Bears, injured his knee, and thought that was pretty much it. He went back to running his gas station in West Virginia, and thought that would be his life until one day Tex Schramm came calling and said, "Hey, we're in expansion. Where you want to come play for us?" And he didn't think anything of it. He said, "Sure, I'll give it a shot."
Give it a shot. No, isn't that interesting though? Because basically, they said my volume is down here. Is that any better?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, we'll see if they can. So basically, when you looked at your dad, what was it like around him? How did he act as a football player growing up?
To me, he was just Dad. And so I didn't really understand what all the fuss was about whenever we go to a restaurant or go out in public and everybody would sort of flock around him. I never really got it, I guess. And he taught me some great lessons growing up. I mean, he never brought the work home. So if they lost a game, they lost the game. I mean, it wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't, him brooding around the house or anything like that. He just came in, said, yeah, we lost, and moved on from there. So it taught me how to accept failures and accept losses and not let it consume my life, and just kind of keep right on pushing forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's get to, he had the 15 seasons and all the accolades that he had. What was it like for you and your family, and probably your dad? I think we talked about this. He said he didn't really talk about it, but not getting in, that you've been waiting and waiting for him to get in, and it took a long time.
Yeah, I think it bothered him. I think, he felt like that for whatever reason, the way that the selection committees were doing things, he just felt like that they weren't. They were looking at it through a different lens, and he just kind of, I think, just resigned himself to never really achieving that final goal that he really wanted to be a part of. But it's unfortunate that now that his health is declining, that he's finally made it in and isn't able to participate.
Yeah, Rob. Well, speaking here of making it in, I think this is kind of cool. Just a short clip here. You had a much longer one, but I just wanted to get this in for you. Guys, just follow back.
You are in the Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
Yes.
Wow, that really seems like an incredible moment. If it's not for your father, which you said got it somewhere down there, you believe that he kind of felt it, and that's a cool story in itself. But your family must have been really, really satisfied, at least satisfaction, relief, maybe.
Oh, absolutely. We were thrilled. I mean, we were excited for Dad. We were thrilled to, that he finally got the recognition that he deserved for the skills and the contributions he made to the sport. So the family was absolutely over the moon.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Because I remember talking to you, like we'd call periodically with each other, and we just like, why is he not in the NFL?
Right.
Why is he not? Just like, batting our heads and just thinking, wow, what is going on? And we tried, just tried to raise awareness, and finally they got it. They got it right. So, I mean, you got to give them credit for getting it right, because it could never happen.
Sure.
But now I remember you went a few weeks or months ago to, I'm trying to remember if it was the Super Bowl that you went to?
It was, yes.
Yeah, go ahead and explain that.
We were invited to come to the Super Bowl as part of the class of 23. I was representing Dad, and the Hall of Fame treated us very well. Gave really took good care of us. We went through the whole process, even though Dad wasn't able to be there. They wanted us to have the same experience that he would have had. They call it Sizing Saturday, where they take you to the hotel that has a bunch of conference rooms, and each conference room has a different vendor in it. Hager Corporation, of course, is in charge of the jackets. K Jewelers is in charge of the ring. There's other memorabilia and things of that nature that they want the athletes to sign. So we were sort of guided through this circuit of different rooms where they would explain things to us. They would tell us about the rings and how that would be prepared, and then the sizing of the jackets and so forth and so on. They came to Dad's house to size him for his jacket, and they also did that for the ring as well. So he was really able to, he really didn't miss out on any of the opportunities that he had. But he just it was an amazing experience. We were able to attend the game with the other class members, and it was absolutely just an experience of a lifetime.
Yeah, it sure was. You can see there from Keith. It's thrilled for your father and your whole family.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
We appreciate that.
one of the best ever. Keith's he's kind of a local here around here in the show, and he knows his football. And your dad. I sit there and I watch the highlights. Your dad had 25 minutes of highlights. I mean, like special plays, 25 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you could fall asleep during that time. You know what I mean? Watch it. That's huge. Someone has a highlight tape that long, and that speaks for the length of his years that he played there, and especially crazy story because he was only he was out of it for after 2 years to come back. At that
Right.
time, it wasn't the best rehab stuff back then. You know what I mean?
No, it was pretty basic. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And okay, so you get the nod. You get to go to the Super Bowl. What's happening now for when's the induction?
The induction is the first week of August. We're going to fly up on the 1st. The events will begin on Wednesday, which I think is the day after we arrive. There's a parade. There are dinners. There's a gold jacket dinner. That, as I understand it, what they're telling me is out of the 300 and some gold jacket Hall of Fame members, over 200 of them are planning to come back this year for this event. So it's going to be quite a notable event. And I'm also told, a fun fact, that this parade is the second largest parade in the nation. It's only the Rose Bowl is bigger than this parade.
Okay, I didn't know that, but I will tell you this: I did receive an invitation from you, so I know that I'm coming up. And I thought you said that we were talking before the show here, and you said, "Hey, I thought I was going to get to coast a little bit."
Yeah, I thought I was gonna. Yeah, I really did. I thought I was gonna have to. I could just kind of hang back in the wings, and they said, "Have you got your speech prepared?" I go, "Wait, what?" And they go, "Yeah, you have to give a 3-minute speech about your dad." And it's like, okay, you didn't tell me that before. They go, "Yeah, we kind of didn't want to scare you too bad." And so I wrote my speech and I submitted it to the Hall of Fame for review, and I'm waiting to hear back on any edits that they may need me to do. But yeah, I think I'm supposed to go up first, and then Bob Lilly's going to do the presentation for us.
Yeah, that's going to be something special. I cannot wait to be there. It's truly going to be something remarkable. I hope a lot of mountaineers. It's not far. It's not far from West Virginia. It's
No.
an easy day trip to go up there to watch that speech, and just absolutely huge. Okay, so when you go ahead and you're going to make the speech, though, is it going to be hard for you? You think? Yeah, I mean, is it an emotional one for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be difficult because, of course, I wish it was my dad that was standing up there instead of me, and that he could be there. I believe he'll be watching on TV, and so he'll participate that way. But yeah, it will be sort of bittersweet in the fact that neither my mom or my dad will be attending. Mom's staying there to take care of Dad. So, it's kind of like it's nice. It's exciting, but there's always that ache that we really wish Dad was the one that was going through this process instead of us.
Sure. No, I understand that. I'm not going to get you fired up and worried because it's going to be like a national TV and I won't do that to you at all. All right.
Yeah,
But I will say this to you, that's really special. I understand having your father and there and the ache that you have for him to be there. But man, enjoy the moment because he would want you to enjoy it. And
Yeah.
that's one thing you know about him. So I appreciate your time. I love having you on here. Love our journey, kind of that you let me peek in a little bit at your
Right.
family as this went along, and it was really neat. So thank you so much, Scott, and I'll be seeing you soon. And hopefully, we talk. Bob Lilly's going to come on and give us a little bit of talk about his teammate. So
Yeah, he's going to have better stories than I do.
well, that's all right. Well, we were going with the good stuff here with the father-son thing, and then we'll get to the other stuff. So all good stuff. Scott Howley, thank you, man, and congratulations to your pops. So well deserved, so long overdue. I'm just so happy.
Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you in Canton.
All right, thank you. Have a good day now.
You too.
All right. Oh boy, Scott Howley, man, and I tell you what, that really must be tough. Knowing, seeing your father right there, and he can't enjoy that experience as the way you would want him to, and the joy you have because of the family love and the whole family situation and the way it's set up. But boy, you know that ache. I certainly understand what he means by that. I haven't gone to it, but I understand it. So, blessings to the whole family. They were, you know, what's a great thing about this? I mean, this guy's long overdue. Chuck out. Long overdue, like ridiculous, right? This family has been nothing but class. I think they supported their father being in there, but never overstepped, never abused, never was that annoying thing coming around. And they did wait, they did have patience, and it came. Congratulations, NFL. You got it right. Very good. All right. Well, as we go here now, we're gonna move on, and a couple things I gotta do this here by QR codes. I've kind of left it the last couple days, but you saw that commercial here, Power Mini rechargers and batteries. I'm telling you, you want to save green, you got to go green with this. It's totally re-energizing. You never buy AA batteries, man. Never buy it. Power Mini chargers right there. You got to do that. And for all you tobacco dippers, get off it, man. Go to Artisan Grange. The hemp dip. Get on the hemp. It's wolfmandip.com. Just go to wolfmandip.com. It's that easy. Wolfmandip.com. And you can go ahead and get rid of the nicotine, get rid of the tobacco. Okay, this is 100% pure hemp in a hemp pouch. I love it. It got me off the tobacco, man. It's like, that's not good for your tobacco. I don't like it, nicotine. You all know the story. So Artisan Grange. All right. And then last but not least, you know, this is like really cool. So if we could all get up there, not all, a lot of us West Virginians get up to be there to support Chuck Howley and Scott Howley right there making that speech. Man, how cool would that be to hear Mountaineer Nation? Again, we're only how far are we from Canton, Ohio, right? We go Mountaineer Nation. I'm gonna be there. I might have a big old bullhorn. I have no idea. They'll probably kick me out. Who knows? But I'm gonna have fun and I'm gonna enjoy it. That Chuck Howley is getting in there, and I think we should have a lot of Mountaineers to be there with me, and we'll have a hootin' hollering time, and we'll enjoy. And you heard Scott Howley just say like 200 former, current NFL Hall of Fame, former players, but current NFL Hall of Famers are going to be there. Well, get your pen out, get your camera ready, you know, get your pad and paper for some signed signatures, because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. And I can only encourage you, how great would it be if the nation could see Mountaineer Nation stepping up for Chuck Howley. All right. That being said, and that's why we got West Virginia United here, united in purpose. Hey, listen, man, we need to have good stuff going on. We need good stuff, not all the bad stuff. And right now, what we're going to talk about is we need to be united. And I think this next discussion is going to be really good because I have a whole host of people. Let me see who's on here. I'm looking here, and I see, there's Daryl Prue right off the bat. What's up, DP? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm going to keep rolling here. Hang on a second. Who I got? Oh, I got the Ranger, Maverick Wolfley. What's up, my boy?
How's it going, Dad?
It's going good. I'm glad you finally figured out your computer there to make things work. And of course, we have here a man named Reno. Reno. See, he laughs as soon as he sees you. That's what you get, a man named Reno.
I can't even see you guys. I don't know what's happening. You sound like the chipmunks.
You look like a chipmunk.
How do I fix it? I hate this stuff.
Oh, I don't know, buddy, but you're doing good so far. Do we have anyone else? Okay, right there.
I'm gonna leave and come back. See if that works. I'll be right back.
All right.
Did he cut his camera on?
Oh, let me see.
At
Check the
bottom?
camera. I don't know.
What he's doing.
It was working, and then it started
the-
raining, and then here we are. I love it.
Yeah. Are you on a laptop or you on a?
I'm on a
Cell
cell phone.
That
All
might be
right,
the problem.
and I got a special guest, fellas, for this. The anchor, the historian, the author, Frank Fair. Frank, how you doing, buddy? All right, very good. Glad you could join us. And we got a lot going on here. You know, you got Kelly McCord. You know, Kelly, did you share today, Kelly? Did you share that on Facebook? I want to know that you shared. So everybody needs to keep sharing and retweeting, and because we're growing in our numbers. It's really cool. It's really good. I really appreciate that, and we're getting some good stuff, reviews, because we're having great guests and we're having people talk about important things, which are the current issues right now. Which now leads me, as I can get Reno up here. Reno, you there now?
I'm here. Thanks, Daryl.
Yep.
There you go.
So the subject is this: it's Bob Huggins. We all understand what happened. We all know what happened. Bob Huggins was a petition going around, and the petition saying that we want Bob Huggins back. And I'm going to start off with Frank Fair, because I called him Frank earlier, and doing this petition to bring him back. I'm not saying what's right, what's wrong. I'm saying is, can it be effective, Frank, in any type of legal way? Because this is a land grant university, and it's also a flagship. So is there any way that this could actually help Bob Huggins to return? Can you hear me, Frank? I can't hear you, Frank. Okay, let's go, DP. Let's go to you then, buddy.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to help. I think he was warned before about the next DUI. That'll be his the last one, and I think this is a very unfortunate situation. Because it's we don't know how many he had. I don't know how many he had. I don't. But it's more than just having a DUI. It's like what can happen. You know what I mean? Like, luckily nothing happened in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm sorry if my audio seems low. I have it up high, but maybe it's just a bad connection. But Mav, what do you think of this? You're the young guy here. They have, by reports, I don't know if this is true or not, but what I heard was that he had 30 minutes to either resign or be fired. Your thoughts. What was your take on how fast it came out and how fast they had to move?
When it all first came out, you were the first one I text because I wasn't sure, because obviously we know he just got in trouble with everything he said in the radio show and everything over in Cincinnati, I believe he was. So I kind of figured it was the end, which it seems like so far it is. But I did see that, seen a lot of things on Twitter. You can't believe everything you read on Twitter or anything. But I did see that it said he had 30 minutes, and I feel like that was, a rushed decision for, a lifetime full of choices, if that makes sense. A lifetime of coaching basketball here, and everybody loves Bob Huggins from what I've heard and everything. But
Let's not say everybody. It's not true, but
you don't hear much bad about Bob Huggins, but now people are coming out and saying things, and I'm seeing a lot of mixed opinions. I know personally from when I've met him and talked to him growing up as a kid, he was always super nice to me and treated me very nicely. But that doesn't take away from what happened, and it's just very unfortunate situation, and I don't really know what's going to happen. I don't know if a petition's going to bring him back or not, but it's going to be a big difference maker, because they talk about the recruiting class that we have right now, and whether those guys are going to leave or stay. So
sure, Maddie. Yep, absolutely. Frank, can you hear me yet?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Thanks.
Okay, great. All right, so I know we've talked about your take on this, and give me a take legally. Land grant institution, flagship. Can a petition do anything, or is this just for moral support?
That's a good question. I think this is going to go where it's going to go. I mean, trying to predict the future maybe is pointless, but you and I talked about the fact that the university made it very clear after the incident in Cincinnati that if he did one more thing to embarrass WVU, he was done. That was made public. It was made explicit. And as you and I talked, once a school states that publicly, that's the line. And so I'm not surprised they did it so quickly. And I think one of the issues here is this issue looks very different if you're, let's say, in Los Angeles and you have no interest in West Virginia. It looks very different if you live in Beckley and you've been a lifelong WVU fan. And it looks even more complex, as Mav said, if you've known Bob and had a relationship with him. And so you got different people looking at it, different entities. But the university acted quickly because they drew a line in the sand and Bob crossed it. And, one of the things that's come up over and over again, and you and I have talked about this, Wolf, is that he offered to go into rehab, and could you suspend him and then see how the rehab goes and then possibly reinstate him or terminate him then? I don't know if the university is willing to reopen this.
All right, Reno. So I've saved you for last because you're a guy named Reno, number one, from California. So we're not sure what we're going to get, but let's get to it, man. And you had a different take on it. You go ahead. Tell us what your take is.
I mean, I'm still the outsider. I'm not the lifelong WVU fan that all of you guys are, I'm sure. But from what I felt from Hugs in the last couple of years is everybody seemed to say that he cared about his players. It wasn't always about winning and losing. It was about caring about your players. And I think there's a lot of stuff that's been built around him. And he's brought a lot to West Virginia. He's brought a lot to Morgantown. And you have a guy that yes, he screws up. And I don't want to be the one who throws all the stones. But where are we at helping him? I mean, if this is an issue that he's having, it's not just a mess up, a screw up, or saying the wrong thing. But I mean, if he does have there's a drinking problem, or if there's issues behind that are going on, where's the love from everybody to say, hey, what can we do to help you besides the basketball? Maybe he'll never coach there again. Maybe he should. I don't know. But I'm just wondering. I mean, he was that guy that everybody loved doing that, and it felt like people from West Virginia really gravitated to that. Regardless if he won or lose, they loved him because of that. And maybe Daryl knows more than I do on that scenario. But I wonder what we do to people when they mess up. We just throw them away, that kind of thing. I mean, where's the human support in that aspect?
Daryl, answer that.
So I think it's more than an issue. I think this is. Sure, from what I'm hearing, I heard this has happened many times in West Virginia. It just got swept under the rug. So it's not a first time thing. So like all the other people, like you said, I think they all enabled him. You know what I mean? Like because of who he's Huggy, he's that, he's this. There's no secret that this has been a problem. This is not a problem for the last 5 years. This has been a problem for a long time. I'm sure. You know what I mean? And there's a whole bunch of talk. He's a great guy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, a lot of great people do a lot of, different things. Nobody's perfect. We all not perfect. I'm not judging at all. I just think, like you said, Frank said, it was like the university drew a line. And he crossed it. I mean, I don't think, it was some times he crossed it before and they kind of like let it go. But this time it's been so public. It wasn't that long ago when he crossed the line again before. So. It's just it's like, how do you bounce back? If you send your kid to somebody like this, you know what I mean, as a parent, you know what I mean, like, yeah, it's because other schools is going to use it against you in the recruiting world. Like he does need the help. He does need help. And, is it the university's responsibility to give him help? It's the coach, the family, like.
Okay, good. All right. Great points, DP, as always. And Frank, let's go to you on this. We're going to throw this at you as a hard one. Is Man's brought 17 million plus to cancer for research for WVU. The man, on his own, through donors, recruited everybody to build that $24 million basketball complex. Okay, as you were alluded to earlier, somebody in California, somebody in Beckley, is not going to think the same thing because they don't know that Bob Huggins visited the mines when the mine shaft fell and the people died. And he was there with Greg Darby delivering bottles of water and giving help to the family members of the people that died in the mine shaft. The family members, they were all sitting there waiting, hoping for something. He was there. He was there about just about everything you could imagine for all the charities. Doesn't that go ahead and give something that he's not just a person that did a job 9 to 5. He's a guy that affected millions.
No question about that. I mean, the stories are pouring out. In fact, I just read an article by Mitch Fingal saying that someone gave a 6-figure check to the Country Roads Trust right after this story broke in support. And that's I think as you know, I was university administration at Michigan State for a number of years, and one of the big questions here, though, isn't about Bob. It's about Joe or Jan, who works in the dining services, who may have a drinking problem and may do something. The likelihood the person would be immediately terminated, but do you give that person a lifeline too? So and I really like what Bob Herzl wrote about a couple of days ago. He said, there's a ripple effect here. It's like throwing a pebble in a pond. There's a lot of effects here. And, this is not an announcement, but, having been in higher education my entire academic career, working career, is Gordon Gee going to survive this? If you just read Facebook, there are a lot of people who are calling for his head. What you're saying, Wolf, is absolutely true. And the question is, at the end of the day, somebody has to make a call. And they made the call to say, enough, we gave you a warning, and you did what you did, and you're finished.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, D.
I mean, we talked about the 30-minute thing before. I think they did give him an opportunity to resign or to be fired. And they didn't have to do that. It was, after you cross the line, it's over. Just like Frank said, with a guy in the cafeteria get the same. I can't, if I have a DUI on my record as a teacher, I can't teach no more. You know what I mean? I could just be sitting in the car drunk, sleep. I had a friend that played in the NBA. Get a DUI, he killed somebody. You know what I mean? From drunk driving. So that's like it's a ripple. It is a ripple effect. Do you give one guy a break because he has money, another guy because he doesn't have any money? I mean, like that's the line right here.
Okay.
President G had to do what he had to do to save his job.
Okay, so save. All right. So what I'm saying, Maverick, and anyone can listen to me, anyone can disagree. It's okay. I understand these opinions differ heavily. But what I see leadership is leadership, okay? And when I look at leadership, and Reno, I even talked to this, but I want Maverick to hear this because this is my son is a young buck. Leadership is about leading, not what everybody else thinks you should do. So instead of saying, you're fired, how about he said he would go to rehab according to reports, 60 days. So instead of saying, let's not worry about basketball right now. Let's get you healthy, Bob Huggins, because you are not that 9 to 5 guy. You have invested $17 million into helping others. And I do think that if you do more, you should receive more. I believe that. I believe that if you raise $17 million for cancer, I'm not saying you don't keep your job. I'm saying you go into rehab, and we're going to worry about Bob Huggins. We're going to worry about his health because he does mean so much to the state. Now, he doesn't mean so much to California, but he sure as heck means a lot to Beckley, or the majority of it, Maverick. So you tell me, is that leadership, or is that just, hey, we gave it to you, and you're gone? Oh, by the way, so just so you know, is that the old guard is gone, and that means that the old guard is all that money is going to be gone. You say a check for Country Roads Trust. I'm telling you, majority are not going to be happy, at least in the beginning, until they get over the pain of Bob Huggins being gone. They're not going to be in a giving way. Go ahead, Mav. This is the Maverick.
I don't know. It's such a touchy subject. Everybody has such good points. Like you're saying, when it comes to this guy, the cafeteria worker, and then Bob Huggins, and then I get that point. This guy has money, this guy doesn't. But then, like you said, if you give more, you should receive more. As in, he donated $17 million. He's done so much to where, maybe he does deserve. Now we know that he's had other DUIs.
To get healthy.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So like, I see the point where I'm in between on all this. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
I get the points where I get, you said, donated all this cancer research, raised all this money, done so much for the state of West Virginia, that he deserves a little bit of help, when he messed up. But then it goes to the same point. But what about the cafeteria worker, who's just,
I think they deserve to get in rehab too.
Yeah, and I think that too. I think, as WVU,
is this the first time though?
No, that's what I'm saying. So
yeah, why didn't he go to rehab the last how many times? You know what I mean? Like now because
I totally get that. It's just like I said, it's a touchy situation. There's so much going on, and I don't think there's one like definitive answer. But as from Gordon Gee's point of view, he was saying that he could be fired for this. He could will he survive this? I don't know. It's a really complicated situation, and I don't want to be biased one way or the other. But
all right, so you want to ride the fence?
I'm not sure yet. I'm riding the fence right now. Yeah, I think it's a touchy subject.
Reno, go ahead.
It's a good answer for a young guy.
Yeah.
But, I got to recommend. I mean, I'm not saying they should do this, but he's not about the money that he has. It's about the influence that he brings. Imagine you take a guy like him who's had all this influence, good, bad, however you want to look at it, and you're able to put him into rehab, and he's able to come out. He now becomes a champion for no drinking and driving. He now becomes a champion for you can fall and get back up. He now becomes the story, a positive story. There's an opportunity there, or he doesn't. But we never seem to think that it was a cut and dry.
Yes.
I felt like we're done with you. We're tired of it type thing. That's kind of how it seems from the outside.
Yeah, I mean, it's that. It's a lot of that. But like people forget when that 3 or 4 game losing streak, they was calling for his head. It's like which one do you want? You know what I mean? Like Like they was calling for his. Remember Dale? They was calling for his head. I'm like,
I think you were.
No.
I'm not talking. No. But Frank,
let's go. They was calling for his head. So like, this is not the first time. You know what I mean? So now everybody's jumping in to try to help him. He's a great coach. Don't get me wrong. He's a great coach. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't want nobody to lose their job because I know how it feels. And but at the end of the day, something had to happen. Rehab, like, that's a great answer, but like, why didn't he go to rehab the last few times? You know what I mean? So, he's doing it now because he got in trouble and want to lose a job.
I think he's doing it now because he'd be forced to maintain any type of hope.
If you're forced to do something like that with that kind of illness, I've had it in my family. It's not going to be a good thing. You know what I mean? Because you're going to still.
Well, again, I'm not saying I'm really kind of just playing devil's advocate right now. But Frank, let's get back to something that you hit on, which I think is so important. Gee leadership, and what do you think about this? And you're saying that in the academic world, he has to make some calls because he has peers that are looking at him at other institutions. Or do you lead and go, like I said, go on your own with leadership? Well, let's talk a little bit about Gee and the way you think the situation he's in, because you're such an academic for so long.
Yeah, a maniac. At any rate, no, that's a good question. And you and I were talking earlier today, Wolfman, that when you get into a situation that is at this level of impact, you would think, well, the athletic director is going to be the lead person, but that's not the case. It's the board, it's your board and your president. And so as a consequence, those two, Gee and the people around that table are the ones that really have the most influence. And they're thinking very broadly beyond athletics. And then also, and you and I've talked about this, you've got the university attorneys. And so they're looking at it from the point of view, as I said earlier, what happens with a faculty member or a person who works in the support staff who has a situation. If we do it one way for Hutchins, do we have to, we don't do it for them? Are we open to lawsuits? So it gets pretty complicated. I think the bottom line, though, you talked about leadership, and I'll close with this, is what would you do? What would each of us do if we had to make that call? What do we do? And I really think this idea of suspension with going to rehab for a period of time, with then getting professional feedback about how he's doing to see whether or not he's reinstated or not. It's a reasonable option. I think it's a reasonable option. But at the end of the day, the people who had to make the call made the call. 2 strikes, you're out.
All right. Okay, so Frank, thank you for that so much, because you got great points. I mean, you bring in the legal stuff, you bring the knowledge of experience. That's why I wanted you on today. Maverick, you bring nothing but youth. All right, so
whenever I get home, you're gonna pay for that one.
What's the young buddies here thinking about this now? The situation, is it about compassion? Is it about you cross the line? You said you ride the fence. I'm giving you your last word on this.
I like what Frank said. I think it's an option, like he said, to go and I think he deserves that chance. And yes, maybe he should have done it before, but I think it's good to get him the help, and anybody else, in the university that needs the help as well, put him through that, see how he's doing, and then if they decide that he's doing well and well enough, and just like Reno said, he could be an advocate or a champion, for people who maybe were, in their darkest days, did some things that they really regret, because I'm sure he regrets it. And then he, like I said, he could be like a champion for no drinking and driving, and people that might not want to admit that they have a problem and can go get it fixed and come back from it.
All right, sound advice. And DP, let's go with this, man. Is that even if you then bring him back, is to say you just put him in, got him help, right? If that's what he wanted to do. I'm not saying that. If that's what he wants to do, get him help. Okay. And what happens if you're like, all right, Bob, you know what? We're not going to bring it back to basketball, but, you're going to be our dude that reaches out to a champion. I mean, there is still something you could not, what the worst thing that ever happened was Bill Stewart is they kicked him out. They kicked him out. Okay, I was there. I know it. I was on staff. I went through it. Trust me. And I know exactly what went down with Bill Stewart and was wrong. And they just cut him off. And that was something silly that they should have worked it out. Grown men and grown humans should be able to work things out instead of just cutting off and you're done. And by the way, you can't come back on campus. All right, it wasn't bad. That's what is happening essentially with a guy that can raise millions and millions of dollars for the benefit of the state, not just the university. All right, couldn't there be something to go ahead to try to repair and say, listen, let's get together, let's get in meetings and try to figure this out. We understand what happened, but let's take a step back.
Yeah, I think, it's because he's not coaching basketball no more, doesn't mean he doesn't have to be a part of the university. I think the scary part was was he in a school? Was he in a school vehicle when that happened?
You got up there, buddy?
That's what it was.
I don't think so.
I think it was reported it was a university vehicle.
Yeah, I did hear that too.
He's driving the cars, the dealership cars. That's what he's doing.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, that's a concern. But go, like Frank said, go get some rehab. And he's 70 years old. It's
69. Yep.
Yeah, like go be an assistant athletic director. Sit behind the desk, collect your money, and work from there and continue to raise money for the school you say you love. You know what I mean? Like, if you love the school, you love the school. If you're working in the school or you're coaching at the school, just because you're coaching, that means you love the school. I mean, like, that's what people like. They're donating because they love Huggy, or you love the school. Like, so which one is it? So I think, he loves the school. Come back, work at the school. There's nothing wrong with that. You could be a part of. You're going to all the games, football games anyway. You know what I mean? So I just think him being a part of West Virginia University, I think is key.
I'm just sitting here and we're having this really serious discussion. There's Reno trying to talk to somebody outside his window. Try to back him off, Reno, right? You're on this. That's like a man from Reno, a man named Reno from California. Don't ever trust him, okay? Because really, his name is it Rennie?
Yeah, it's not a discussion for this.
Okay, Renee, final thought here, man. Give it to us.
I think you talked about leadership. I think it's important to make decisions. I know, Frank, you work for the school system, and I've been on the public sector, so I kind of understand. You get trapped into everything's got to be equal, everything's got to be fair, and it's a tough call. But that's why you just got to make decisions that make sense for individuals. Make good choices. I think in this scenario, they could have done a better job. I think if you really are the brotherhood that you talk about, Wolf, of West Virginia, and how WVU is tight, and once you're in and you never leave, I don't think they showed that, and that's and from an outsider's point of view, I call BS on the fact that there is a tight knit group, because basically if you mess up, we don't want you anymore.
All right. Okay. Well, let me say this. Then. Let me respond to that.
It's not a tight knit group, because I've been applying for jobs for the last 15 years, 20 years there. I can't get a call back.
Hey, they're still waiting. All right, they're still waiting. I'm gonna tell you, Gordon Gee is not a part of the brotherhood. Okay. Shane Lyons was not part of the brotherhood. Ren Baker right now is not. But Ren Baker, I think, really probably had the least influence in anyone's decision making of the decision makers. I really kind of feel bad for him in a way, because he's going to be the guy that's up front with the least amount of decision making power in this. That's what I believe. I think he's doing a great job. I wonder what he thinks now, 7 months later, of coming. I mean, I was at North Texas. I was doing good, man. I was rolling in the dough, up here in West Virginia, and all these issues, man.
He got himself in a big pickle.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that Texas green looks pretty good right now. But all right, fellas, I appreciate it. Hey, listen, everybody brought up solid points, even you, Math. Okay. I really enjoyed it.
The Wolf Pup.
No, we're not going with that.
We're calling him the Ranger, because that's his middle name, after his grandfather, Ray Mansfield, who played for the Steelers for 13 years, and 1 year at the Eagles. So we call him the Ranger. And Mavi, good job, man. I was going to say, we'll see you later, buddy. All right?
All righty.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. We'll see you a lot more. The Ranger, Maverick Wolfley. And
See you, bud.
Frank, I'm going to say goodbye to you, sir. I thank you for everything. You just brought the knowledge. And, there's a lot about what you said that, coming from your end and your experience, there really is a lot to that, which a lot of people don't account for. And so makes Gordon Gee's decision and the board's that much tougher. Thank you, sir. Have a good.
Thank you, as always.
Yeah, man. Love it. Hey, Frank Fear, he's every Monday at 4 o'clock on the WolfMan's Call. Got something big. Real quick plug. What are you doing on Monday?
Well, it's getting close to football season. Obviously, we're getting ready for that Penn State game. And as you know, I love college football history. So the big question is what's going to happen with Head Coach Brown. So I put together a data set going back actually almost 75 years of head coaches at WVU. And there's pretty clear patterns in there. So we're going to look at that information on Monday and talk it through, because if I think you're like me, we want Coach Brown to succeed. It's going to be a pretty tall climb. Again, if you're making the call as an athletic director, if he doesn't win this year.
All right. Another shot for Ren Baker. Thank you, Ren. Have a good day, buddy.
You too. Thanks a lot.
I'm going to be on that show. I'm going to listen to that one.
Well, yeah, man. I'll tell you what, he's got a chart. There's nothing like Frank Fear, man, because he just does. He goes, you say, listen, man, I want to know something about this, and he's got to dig 10 feet deep.
Yeah, he has a lot of information. I love listening to him.
I'll tell you what, every Monday is the Frank Fear. It's turning into people are tuning in just to listen to him because we know they're not tuning in to listen to you, Reno. So I was going to say, hey, listen, man, you've only been fired 4 times from the show. Okay today. If I was going to fire anybody on the show today, it would have been Maverick. All right.
Maverick did a good job. He did a good job.
he just want to give Maverick a hard time.
He's got to learn the ropes here.
He the youngest. He got to get all the crap.
That's right. All right.
He wants to be alpha out of the gate.
Oh, okay.
The old man still got it, even when I'm from long distance away. All right, Reno. Thank you, sir. Reno.
All right. See you guys.
Chapman Printing, Champion Industries, and part of our sponsors on board is Stationers. Reno? What's the tagline?
Service is always in stock.
Boy, I'm glad you're up on it, bro. All right, we'll see you.
Thanks.
All right, Reno Bellamy, guys. Thank you very much. Get out of here. Okay.
Later.
All right, DP. I'm going to give you the last word here. You tell me about. You just say, is it good? Is it just you want them to move on, right?
I mean, I understand people wanted to take up for him. I do too. But it's kind of hard. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen how these things go south. How they go. Just like Mike Rollins said, he thought he was in Ohio, Columbus, and he was in Pittsburgh. So that's a problem. Like, as we get older, we think about different things. So I think about, glad he didn't hit nobody, or didn't hurt himself. You know what I mean? So it's like there's a danger to himself and danger to others when you continue to do things like this. But we all have our vices. And at 69, will he really get his vice together? I mean, that's a question for him. Does he really want to go to rehab, or is the university will make him go to the rehab? So, like, if you don't go, if you're not willing to go to get better, you're not going to get better. I've seen it, many times. It's an unfortunate situation for the kids, the coaching staff, because you mess up their lives. You know what I mean? It's just, for the state, the fans of West Virginia, but it's kind of weird to me how most of the fans that's trying to get him to come back wanted him fired in January. You know what I mean? After 3-4 losses. You know what I mean? So it's a tough situation. It's no quick fix. You know what I mean? I still think you should do the interim. If you do the interim, he gets himself together, you can still bring him back because it's the same people. You know what I mean? But if you bring in somebody new, it wipes everything out. Bob Huggins. You know what I mean? They might keep the staff for a year. But like we talked about last week, do the intern or earlier this week. Do the intern and see how it goes from there. You know what I mean? Like, he comes back, get himself healthy, get himself well. It's an easy decision. It's not a rocky decision. So.
All right, DP. Thank you, man. We're running out of time here, so thanks for coming on. We'll see you next week. Okay.
Like the shirt and tie, boss.
You know what? I was gonna say, man, you actually look good today. I don't want to infer that you always look like crap. All right, brother. Take care, man.
All right.
Yep. We'll see you. Oh, Daryl Pruitt. So we had Maverick Wolfley, the Ranger. We had Frank Fear coming at you with some heavy legal stuff and academic stuff that you just can't ignore. And the points are strong. I also think the points of leadership and compassion are really strong as well. I'm not gonna lie, Bob Huggins is like he's a brother, man. Part of that brotherhood to me, as Reno talked about. And I'm going to say, the administration is not part of that brotherhood. But it's not, I'm saying bad thing about it. But let's face it, it's not. When Eddie Passalong was athletic director, yeah. When you had that was some brotherhood back then. But, everybody's got to go. I had to go. Got rid of me. They got rid of the old guard. But I will say this. Be careful for what you wish for. And I'm going to say that to President Gee. And I'm going to say that to the administration, to the board. Be careful what you wish for. Because when you move the old guard out, Bob Huggins moving out, there goes, cancer money, research money going into there. There goes that. When you move out, I mean, there was $24 million in that basketball facility. What about the radio show? Bob Huggins' radio show that generated. What about that? How do you think the people at Keglers feel that Bob Huggins is out? I mean, money. All this is got the ripple effect we're talking about. So be careful what you wish for, because if you lose the old guard, there's could be good. Sometimes you need to get rid of the old ones like myself. But sometimes you also lose a lot. And that could be relationships, experience, influences. If you cut everything out too quickly, and let's say you come in from somewhere else, say like a Texas Tech, and all of a sudden you're part of the administration. And, you know, I'm not saying anything bad about that, but are you really a Mountaineer? I don't know. That's what we had. That was about you make the call. I'm sorry. We were going to go ahead and break down some film, but we ran out of time today. I guess we'll have to do that tomorrow. This discussion obviously is bigger than breaking down film. And on the WolfMan's call, we're about current issues, man, and especially ones that affect, like, you know, Bob Huggins. So whether you're for the petition or not for the petition, I think the petition is a nice thing. I think it might help in a bridge maybe for a healing somehow. If you could go, I would like to see adults reach over and say, we don't want to lose Bob Huggins, regardless if you never let him coach again at WVU. And I don't know. I haven't talked to Huggs. I wouldn't know. I'm sure he probably wouldn't even tell me his feelings about this. But why not try to reach out? Even if you say it's not going to work. Well, I don't care. I'm about trying until the door gets slammed in the face. Why can't you just reach out and try? Because there's a whole lot of influence in the state, and you can bring the arguments on this side, as you just saw, both sides. That's why I love what we had there today. And the arguments on this side. And bring them together, man. Because the bar's too big to lose. You're just going to lose it? I don't know. I think that grown-ups should be able to work things out. And I'm not saying the coaching. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying we love Bob Huggins. We loved him as a person that loved the state, as a person that was at that coal mine when it crashed and all those coal miners perished. There was two people there that I know besides the governor, and that was Bob Huggins and Greg Darby. Okay, that's who was there. And they were passing out T-shirts, and those T-shirts comforted the family in a way that nobody understood. And then you go ahead and you look at all the fish fry. Okay, the fish fry. Who does that? Who does that and gives the money, any bonus checks, whatever? I understand he's a wealthy man. I get it. You know what? But he doesn't have to do it. He didn't have to come back to West Virginia. He could be a lot of places. So all I'm saying is, listen, I'm not telling you right or wrong. I'm saying is there should be a better way to keep him, because what happened with Bill Stewart was wrong. That's all I got to say. And that is the WolfMan's call. God bless you all. Have a great day. Love WVU. Love the state of West Virginia. Love Mountaineer Nation. Love you guys. All right, and that's from the heart. We'll see you tomorrow. Big day. Gonna have some great guests lined up.
Hi, I'm Traylon Davis. I'm from Jackson, Ohio, and when I'm back home, you will find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that gold and blue pride at your local Parmar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Parmar app and sign up for the Parmar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Parmar stores.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Stationers, #1 office supplier in West Virginia. Always in stock.